Clock Mirage is the latest Beyblade X release. It is an homage to Twisted Tempo. You can tell because it kind of has like the face bolt shape right there. And just like Twisted Tempo, it's really good. Can beat a lot of the meta, but it has one critical flaw. And this critical flaw, I think, is a lot more has a lot more of an impact than Twisted Tempo's critical flaw. But let's talk about it. What's good, YouTube? It's your boy T from T Fuego T and I can't get them. And today we're going to be going over the latest Beyblade X release, Clock Mirage. This guy, a lot of people thought it was dead on arrival because it can only use simple ratchets, meaning the ratchets like this, not let me get an example of a different ratchet. Here we go. It can't use like a 560. Here we go. We got like a regular 560. It can't fit. It can only use ratchets like this, which these ratchets have worse burst resistance because if it has a resistor or it doesn't have a resistor, it doesn't matter. Like, all bits have the same burst resistance, and these guys generally have worse burst resistance because it has the lock isn't nearly as like it doesn't lock as solid as the other ratchets. In addition, it is extremely tall, meaning that there's going to be a really high chance for ratchet contact from other bays, meaning this guy is going to be easy to burst, which it is. But I think what a lot of people didn't anticipate was how great this thing's stamina is, to where you can run this on ball, but because this thing's stamina is so great, you can run it on things like under needle and low orb, which lowers your Beyblade a lot. So that way, maybe it can help sort of mitigate the burst risk by making your Bay lower. So today, the combo we're going to be using is 455 low orb. I have used under needle. You can use under needle. I just think I've gotten more consistency with low orb. That's just my opinion. But yeah, we're just going to be throwing this thing up against the meta and showing how powerful this guy is. But even though this thing is weak to attack types that like to get under it, there is a way to kind of try and counteract that. It's not perfect. This thing will still burst, but there is some strategy that you can use to try and beat a lot of those attack combos. Let's get into it. Almost forgot, but first, if you want to get a Clock Mirage of your own or any of the latest Beyblade X releases, best spot to do that is Mall Toys. Link in the description. Use code TFlame2K at checkout. Help yourself save 5%. I can't really do a 5. Okay, there we go. That's close enough for getting to a 5. Save yourself 5%. Help support the channel. So getting straight into it, we're just going to do like literally like a couple battles against Wizard Rod on 360 ball. Let me clean the ball, clean the tip before people complain. But just to prove that this thing pretty much beats Wizard Rod pretty handedly. The only time I've seen Wizard Rod kind of get lucky against this guy is if it can get like a lucky burst hit, which is a chance, but Wizard Rod doesn't have that much recoil, so you're not going to see a lot of bursting action. But sometimes Wizard Rod can get like under and destabilize Clock Mirage a little bit, but for the most part, about 98 to 97 times out of 100, this thing pretty handedly beats up on Clock Mirage. So as you can see, I mean, Clock Mirage beats up on Wizard Rod, and it's always a good day when you see Wizard Rod lose and struggle. I mean, even then, look at that. Wizard Rod is struggling. You would think Clock Mirage is Wizard Rod in this scenario, but Wizard Rod, one of the rare times you see it get absolutely outspun pretty handedly, pretty easily. I'm just going to redo it right here, do another spin. Oop! Clock Mirage. And another big thing about Clock Mirage I will recommend in terms of strategy is you don't want to angle launch or stall launch this guy. You may think trying to avoid the center would be good, but the thing is with 455 can burst itself while going along the extreme rail, and you don't want to risk that. So just launching this thing flat and straight towards the center is, in my opinion, the best way to use this guy. It's where I've had the most success. Maybe you can do some stall launches against attack types, but in terms of stamina, just launch it straight in the center. That's where I've found my bread and butter. Keeping it going, I'm not even going to cut. We're just going to keep it going. It pretty much beat Wizard Rod handedly. We'll do Wizard Rod on Hexa maybe in a little bit, but or later in the video. But Wizard Rod on Hexa, of course, has more defense but less stamina than Wizard Rod on ball. So the fact that Clock Mirage can outspin Wizard Rod on ball means it can outspin Wizard Rod on Hexa. So we're going to go into Cobalt Dragoon. Actually, instead of doing Cobalt Dragoon battles, I'm just going to do one battle with Clock Mirage against Wizard Rod on Hexa, just so we can say we did it. This is Wizard Rod 160 Hexa. I will say this thing is a little bit more aggressive, so maybe it can get a lucky burst, but it's not going to outspin. Wizard Rod is just not going to outspin this guy. I'd say Hexa maybe gives you a better possibility of bursting, but you have less stamina, and then you're going to start tilting, and then you're going to be done. So, unless Wizard Rod gets a lucky burst, which I don't think it will, maybe... Okay, yeah. I was just doing this battle real quick to prove a point that it still, of course, outspins Wizard Rod on Hexa. But now we're going to do it against Cobalt Dragoon. Now, with Cobalt Dragoon in particular, here's some launch tech. Cobalt Dragoon, even though you're gonna outspin it because you are a lot more balanced than Cobalt Dragoon can't really equalize against Clock Mirage. Launch this guy a lot lighter. You will equalize, but you don't need to launch with a lot of force, because the more force you launch with, that's the more recoil you're generating. Even though you're round, just by spinning faster, more recoil is being generated, meaning you have a higher chance of getting knocked out or bursting. So going against more aggressive bays, generally you don't need to launch this guy that hard, because you have such good stamina that you don't need that much spin power, because you just have that much stamina. You have so much stamina that it can kind of not need to be ripped as hard. You can kind of take advantage of launching softer because you have that much stamina. You don't need raw stamina by launching as hard as you can. I'd say against other stamina setups, you can launch a little harder, but against attack and Cobalt Dragoon and other balance setups, launch a little softer. And also one other tech, do not use this with a winder launcher. Do not do it. The winder launcher, again, like I said, you want to watch how much spin power you're giving this guy, but also the winder launcher will give you a lot of spin power. You will go around the stadium and potentially forfeit with 455. It'll get caught on the rail and die. That's the biggest problem with 455, is that it gets caught on the stadium rail because of how low it is, has a little bit of lip, and it will burst. So don't use a winder launcher with this guy. You never really need to use a winder launcher with this guy unless you're launching softer with a winder, which at that point just use strength. But here we go. I'm going to do a soft launch there with Clock Mirage. And up. Cobalt Dragoon burst right there, first hit. That's my mistake. Let me... I'm launching Cobalt Dragoon with a little bit of aggression. Oh, and it gets knocked out right there. It gets knocked out right there. Let me try and... Maybe I stand corrected. I need to do a little bit more of a stall launch, a little bit more of an angled launch to dodge those hits from Cobalt Dragoon. Cobalt Dragoon gets that hit, tries to destabilize, but Clock Mirage is going to equalize against it. It has way more stamina, like significantly more stamina. Let's see. And yeah, it should pretty handily be Cobalt Dragoon. Cobalt Dragoon may get lucky and get like a lucky upper hit and throw Clock Mirage off balance. But generally when it comes to these LAD matches, Clock Mirage will take it. Clock Mirage will take it. Cobalt Dragoon can sometimes get lucky, but generally speaking, if you launch Clock Mirage kind of softly, I'll do a little bit of like a stall launch to try to get it. Wait, hold up. I'll try to do a little stall launch. Wait, let me do a little anchor launch. Wait, how do you do it? You do like that? I don't know how to anchor launch. I'm sorry. To get it to like stall. I'm sorry. I'm not good at that. Cobalt Dragoon trying to get a little hit right there. There you go. Kind of going on the sides, flowing, dodging a little bit. Clock Mirage is dodging a little bit. Looking like it might scrape a little bit. But I think inevitably it should recover nonetheless. It is also Clock Mirage is wider than Wizard Rod, which kind of helps dampen attacks because of how wide it is. It can sort of dampen attacks from below by trying to have the bay make contact with the metal before it makes contact with the ratchet to kind of like repel bays before they can burst it. Now, it's coming down here. Might Cobalt Dragoon get it? Cobalt Dragoon, I think, barely took that one. I did do a little stupid angle launch, which I said I don't recommend, but I thought maybe it'd work better. But I need to take my own advice. I'm going to do a little bit heavier launch with Cobalt Dragoon, trying to get a little lucky knockout. Trying to get a little bit more of a destabilizing hit, a little bit of an upper hit. I think it's going to make it scrape a little bit. Okay, I think it's going to scrape a little bit. Can it keep Clock Mirage off balance, or will Clock Mirage recover? Okay, there you go. Clock Mirage, like, that's its biggest weakness in the slow orb setup, is that it can get knocked off balance like that. Which is why I think that's why I recommend launching it straight, having it stand straight up, so that way it can kind of like be able to withstand those like upper hits that would throw it off balance. So that way that doesn't happen. I mean, this is just from my testings. Again, I just got this guy, so I'm still trying to figure out the quirks and things. But nonetheless, this thing still can, like, you know, outspin Cobalt Dragoon. It has enough stamina to do that. You just got to make sure you're not getting destabilized. You know, you don't want to launch it at an angle, because then that'll help Cobalt Dragoon, like, throw you off balance and then outspin. But in this setup, which is the ideal setup, what you want to see right here, you'll get an easy outspin right there. I'll just do one more battle. We'll do one more battle. You know what? I'm going to launch this thing really hard and see if it gets bursted. To see if my point stands corrected. It'll probably stand corrected when you do attack that. Oh! There we go. No, it just gets knocked out when you launch it hard like that. So you want to be careful when you're launching it hard, because then you might, you know, get knocked out. But you know what? I said that was last battle. We're just going to do 2 more. We're going to do 2 more because I normally do 5. Wait, no, I think that was 4. So we'll do 1 more. I lied. We're going to do 1 more because I normally do 5 battles in these videos. So this is the final battle. I launched Clock Mirage a little bit harder this time. Ooh. Dragoon trying to throw it all the way off balance. Dragoon throwing it off balance. Trying to keep it off balance. Let's see. Can Clock Mirage recover? It is. Oh, it's touching. Oh, is it going to recover? Is it going to recover? I think, ladies and gentlemen, it might have just recovered. Now, is it going to out-equalize Cobalt Dragoon? If so, this would be an amazing comeback because Cobalt Dragoon had this thing destabilized on the ropes. Let's see. Can it out-equalize? It has the better stamina. And no, Cobalt Dragoon takes it. So it can still lose to Cobalt Dragoon nonetheless, but it can equalize. Wizard Rod can't really beat Cobalt Dragoon like that, but this thing can. And so now we'll get to this thing's biggest weakness, being attack type. So before I even use the custom combo, here's just stock 965 ball. And we have, you know, the combo that everyone's saying is this guy's father is just anything shark scale. I got shark scale 360 low rush. And, you know, normally I'm pretty sure if you just do it like this, you'll see a burst. Oh, no. You don't even have to worry about a burst. It just, it was able to dodge and let shark, burst it, run out of the stadium itself, but I'm pretty confident we'll see a burst here, if not a knockout. Oh, yeah, there we go, we got the burst. I thought maybe we weren't going to see a burst, but yeah, in stock, this guy can definitely get bursted by Shark Edge or Shark Scale, which is why this lower setup is optimal. But the main thing against Shark Scale that you want is you don't want to launch it that hard. You don't want to launch this thing hard at all because you're going to create a lot of recoil. So I just normally launch it like that, not that hard. And then typically when you go against attack types, you're going to have someone who's going to launch pretty hard. As you can see, if you don't launch that hard at all, look at that. A lot of people would have expected Clock Mirage to be dead. A lot of people would expect them hits to kill Clock Mirage. Now, you do have a chance of getting outspun. You're able to outspin Shark Scale right there, but Shark Scale has good stamina. It's literally the right spin longness. So it is risky nonetheless using Clock Mirage against this guy. I'm just showing you the most optimal ways to have the highest chance to win. So don't launch that hard. Oh, there you go. That was more of like a snipe knockout, but if you want to count, shit, that hurt. If you want to count that, go ahead, but that was more of like a snipe knockout. As you can see, able to dodge, big direct hit, Shark Scale trying to get the follow-up, another hit, Shark Scale trying to throw Clock Mirage off balance, but as you can see, Clock Mirage is able, like, yes, attack types are its weakness, but just because you're going attack against an attack type doesn't mean you're going to lose. It does not at all mean you're going to lose just because you're going against an attack type. Now there, right there, you lost. Right there, you lost right there, right? But you just don't launch that hard, and you'll have a high chance of winning. Oh, a defensive extreme dash. It used an extreme dash to kind of avoid Shark Scale's hits. A defensive extreme dash. Wow. Shark Scale getting those upper hits. Clock Mirage is tilting, it's scraping, and it loses right there. I'm gonna launch this thing real hard next round. Oh, and Shark Scale knocks itself out. I'm gonna launch this thing real hard right now to kind of show you why I don't recommend launching it hard unless maybe it wins. There you go. That's the recoil I'm talking about. It just knocks itself out of the stadium because it's like you launch it too fast. So I don't recommend launching it too fast. Oh, and there we go. We got the inevitable burst. We got the inevitable burst. All right. I'm going to try tilt launching this guy. I don't recommend tilt launching, but just for testing, because I haven't tested tilt launching this guy yet. Maybe it'll work defensively. No, it just gets instantly knocked out. Okay. Yeah, Shark Scale can beat it. I mean, attack types are supposed to beat stamina types, but while this thing can beat Wizard Rod, it is not better than Wizard Rod, because I think Wizard Rod has more defense, right? But, I mean, this thing is a very balanced release. It's good, but not broken, which I think is like, it's cool. It's like cool to have a good release that you can use, but it's not like meta breaking. Like it can beat things in the meta, but it's not meta breaking. But here we're gonna go against my favorite attack type, Tyranno Beat. I just drew I had a big brain fart right there. Tyranno Beat 160 low rush, my favorite attack type. Same thing. I'm not gonna launch that hard. I'm not gonna launch that hard. Ooh. Oh, and it gets knocked out right there, ladies and gentlemen. It gets knocked out. Ooh, dig it. Dig it. Ooh. Tyranno Beat hits it again, but Clock Mirage is able to hang on. There we go. All right, there we go. Oh, that was a snipe shot. That was a snipe shot. I don't want to count that one, but if you want to count it, go ahead. Getting the wind up, going for the extreme dash, missing right there. Miss it again. Miss it again. Here's where I think the width of Clock Mirage helps it. Is because of how wide it is, it kind of is able to repel attacks. Like I was saying earlier, it can kind of repel attacks from the ratchet. Not all the time, as we did see it get bursted. But sometimes I think it can kind of, its width helps it a lot. Ooh. Dodging, dodging, dodging. Alright, we're gonna do one more battle after this one. Okay. Alright. There we go. We're gonna do one more battle after this one. I'm gonna try and clear the stuff out the stadium. Okay, there we go. We're gonna do one more battle. Ooh, and it just gets a clean extreme finish right there. Yeah, Tyranno Beat. This is my favorite attack type for a reason. Like, it's, yeah. Okay, the last combo I want to test this up against is Hover Wyvern 760 Rush. Now, this combo actually can kind of check Hover Wyvern a good amount, because Hover Wyvern's big thing is its attack points are elevated. Like, these points, it's like a Pringle shape. It's like attack points are elevated, where Shark Scales are lower. And Shark Scale checks this guy because it's lower, and like Clock Mirage is tall. But because Clock Mirage is tall, it can kind of dampen the hits from Hover Wyvern. So I'm gonna launch it soft again. Not saying Hover Wyvern can't get a knockout, because it definitely still can, but it struggles, I notice, significantly with this thing, but not enough. It's just knocks it out, you know. You can never oh my god, crud in the stadium, I'm sorry. It doesn't, this little thing, okay, there we go. I spoke too soon, ladies and gentlemen. Maybe I need to launch this thing a little softer, but nonetheless. Oh, it gets a burst. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. Well, I thought this thing would check Hover Wyvern, but you know, it's just Hover Wyvern is just like, you talk too soon, buddy. Talk shit, get hit, bruh. Oh, okay. There we go. That was 3 extreme dashes it endured. Okay, there you go. Okay, it did get 2 dubs, but like, let's see how it does if we like keep going. Let's see. Oh, and it bursted as soon as it went into my hand. Oh, sorry, it's staying a little uneven. Ooh, this is a dogfight. Ooh, and it. Never mind, okay? I thought this thing, you know what? Let me launch this thing hard. I've been launching this thing soft. Maybe against hover wyvern you want to launch hard. Maybe all logic goes out the window. Because I've been launching soft against hover wyvern you want to launch harder. Because I've been launching pretty soft and... Oh my god. Alright, so just disregard everything I just said. Hover wyvern can still trounce this guy. But nonetheless... I think Clock Mirage is good, but not broken. This feels like what Wizard Rod should have been to make it a lot more balanced. But I really like how they gave us a release that can do a lot of things, but has a key weakness. And so I think that as bays start developing, if Kiritomi wants to give us bays like this that has insane stamina, give him a weak point. I am nervous about Emperor Might, because it seems like it's coming with extreme weight creep. I hope it's not that overpowered and maybe it's too top heavy and gets knocked over easier. But I just hope that as we develop bays that are really good have key flaws, because this guy is good, but it's high risk, high reward, right? But nonetheless, let me know your thoughts on Clock Mirage in the comment section down below, and I will see y'all in the next video. Peace. Wait, no. All right, there we go. Peace.